Hey everybody, it's Ethan again, if you didn't know. If you did know, okay. So, today, I wanted to, well, first I'd like to start by saying, I'm sorry if I look a little rough. I just got off work, and, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm in the process of trying to move. Been applying for apartments, been trying to start packing stuff up, because by the end of this month, I'm no longer going to be living in Florida. So there's that announcement, in case anyone cared. But yeah, I'm moving out of Florida. I'm going to be out on my own for the first time in my life. I'm a little anxious, but mostly excited. I'm very, very hopeful that the change of scenery will be good for me. I'm excited that I'll be in a new place, that I'll be living on my own, that I'll get to experience those things. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that's why I look the way I do right now. Don't look the cleanest, don't look the best. That's okay. But anyways, today I wanted to discuss kind of two topics, two topics wrapped up in one. I wanted to discuss having patience with yourself, and also just, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Not putting too much pressure on yourself, right? Not putting pressure on yourself, being patient with yourself. They both go kind of hand in hand, which I guess is why I'm trying to touch on them both in this one video. Something I've struggled with a lot for a very, very large portion of my life, I would say, is, putting pressure on myself and not being patient with myself. I would always hear that the things that you want to happen for yourself will happen when they're meant to happen, right? Everyone's timeline is different. In other words, comparison is the thief of joy, right? You can't compare yourself and where you are right now to where someone else is, because someone else your age might be a millionaire, have a beautiful family, wife and kids, beautiful home, the coolest cars, coolest clothes, whatever, what have you. But of the same coin, there's someone else your age right now that's probably homeless, or, still living at home in a terrible situation, trying to get out, or whatever. So it kind of defeats your own journey to try to compare where you are to where someone else is. You shouldn't be doing that. And it's something that I did for a very, very long time, and contributed to a big part of the reason why I was so unhappy with myself and my life and where I was. And it took a while for me to really grasp just how imperative it is to allow yourself to be where you are. Stressing over the fact that you're not where you want to be isn't going to get you there any faster. You can work towards it, and that'll be productive. But getting mad or frustrated or upset or, just depressed about it isn't going to help anything. So it's best to not allow it to affect you to that degree. Just be patient. Because you are a work in progress. We all are. And it's a work in progress that's actually genuinely never finished. You're never done. Not even when you're 80 or 90 or 100, if you live that long. You're a constant work in progress. And so you need to be patient with yourself. Because you're still just working on yourself. You're still just getting there, right? You're still just working towards the goals that you have in mind. And for some people, sometimes getting there takes a little bit longer. But that's okay. Because it's not really about how long it took to get there. It's about the fact that you got there. And I would argue it's not even about that you got there either. It's about the journey, right? It's not really about the end goal. It's not really about the end result. It's about how you got there. It's about the journey. That's what's most important, right? Because that's what's going to define you. The steps you took, the decisions you made, the things that you allowed to affect you, the way that you impacted others, those are the things that are going to define you, not necessarily where you end up. So you need to be patient with yourself. You need to be patient with your goals, where you're trying to get, and you need to just kind of learn to not put as much pressure on yourself, because I did that too. I put so much pressure on myself to the point that I was not directly, but I was indirectly harming myself. I wouldn't sleep. I would work multiple jobs. I'd be up 5 a.m. to midnight, go home, shower, sleep for like 3 or 4 hours, get up, do the same thing all over again the next day, just overworking myself to the point that eventually I burnt out beyond recognition. You know, I hit a point where I couldn't even recognize myself at all. I would come home from work and I'd look in the mirror and it was a stranger. My reflection was a stranger, you know? Aside from that, also the fact that the way that it was affecting my mental health because of just being so burnt out and not having any sleep, and my diet was absolutely garbage because I was at work all the time. I never really had the time to sit down and like cook a fresh meal, you know? I was living off of McDonald's and Chipotle and Wendy's and pizza and burgers, fries, whatever, but it was not sustainable. I was fortunate enough to have not really I was fortunate enough to not really have begun to experience any sort of health issues, any major health issues from it. You know, thankfully, I still have my health. And yeah, but it was awful. And it was just because I was putting unnecessary pressure on myself. You know, everyone progresses at the rate that they're going to progress. That includes you, that includes me, that includes anyone that's around you, that includes even the people that you don't know. You know, a lot of people like to say, oh, these celebrities just became celebrities overnight. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them were just really working at it for a really, really long time. And then eventually something clicked. But you didn't see that they were working for like the past 10, 15 years. Just going insanely hard trying to accomplish this goal. And they probably were having similar thoughts as you, as you know, the thoughts of, oh, it's not going to happen for me. Maybe this isn't a real thing. Maybe this isn't realistic. Maybe I should settle for something else. Maybe I should give up. Maybe I should quit, go try to do something else that's more reasonable, more manageable, whatever, what have you. I had those thoughts too. You know, I still have those thoughts. Not as often as I used to, because I've been learning to manage them. But I'd be lying if I said I just completely abolished them from my mind at this point already, because I didn't. Every now and then I'll get the thought, you know, that maybe my goals were always a little bit too unrealistic. Maybe I shouldn't have been reaching so hard. But you know what? Doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I know I'm not going to be satisfied until I reach those goals. So whether I hit them now or when I'm 40, I know I'm going to hit them. It's just, you know, I was pressuring myself too much. I was putting way too much pressure on myself, and I wasn't being patient. And, you know, as they say, patience is a virtue. Everyone could benefit from being a little bit more patient with themselves, with their goals, with others, and just not putting so much pressure on yourself, because it's not healthy. It's really not. you wake up one day and you reach a point where you hope you don't wake up one day, actually, where you're starting to dread your life so much, whether it's work or school or finances or your relationships, whatever, what have you, that you just reach a point that you'd rather just cease to exist so as to not have to deal with those issues anymore. And I know that because I'd have those thoughts too. I'd have thoughts where I'd wake up and think how great it would be if I experienced a Donnie Darko moment right now and a plane turbine just crashed through the ceiling and smushed me in my bed. I wouldn't have to go to work. I wouldn't have to deal with my responsibilities anymore. I wouldn't have to deal with bills or XYZ. But it's not healthy. It's not productive, right? And it's not going to help you in your journey to becoming happier or healthier. So it's best to try to mitigate the thoughts. And, you know, it helps to speak about it. It helps to meditate. It helps to pray if you're into that. You know, I do all of the above. I love meditating. I do it multiple times a day. I love to pray. I do it multiple times a day. I probably devote like 2 to 3 hours a day to just meditation and prayer. And obviously not all at once, but spread out throughout the course of the day. And it helps, you know, and you have to find the things that help you to mitigate that stress, to mitigate that pressure that you put on yourself, to help you relieve yourself of those thoughts. Obviously within reason. I'm not encouraging anyone to indulge in any, you know, negative habits or vices. You know, don't resort to drinking or smoking or having an unbelievable, ungodly amount of intercourse with multiple partners or anything like that. Just try to find healthy avenues to resolve those feelings, because unless you address them, unless you acknowledge them, they're not going to go away. But you need to find a way to address them, acknowledge them, quantify them, whatever, what have you, and let it go. You know, find some way to make yourself okay with where you are. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be comfortable. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to grow complacent or content with where you're at. But just having that understanding that where you are is temporary. You will get out of it because it's your goal. You're not going to let go of the goal, but you're going to allow yourself to reach that goal at the pace that you're meant to reach it. So just be patient with yourself. Give yourself a little bit of time. Cut yourself a little bit of slack. You're only human. You're not a robot. There's only so much you can do before you just collapse, before you just can't anymore. And the same goes for your mental health. There's only so much that you're going to be able to allow yourself to feel and experience and think before your brain is just going to want to collapse in on itself. And I know because I reached that point too. My brain collapsed in on itself. Now I'm at a point where it's hard for me to stay negative because I was negative for so long. My brain just inverted itself. It was like, okay, we're done. I'm done. Like, I don't think I can physically handle being negative anymore. You know, it's gotten to the point where I started to develop stress hives. And that's not fun for anyone who has stress hives. They know it's not fun. You know, you wake up one day, you get a little anxious, maybe have a baby panic attack. Next thing you know, you're covered in itchy red spots. It's awful. So I hope anyone watching this doesn't have to reach that point, that you can start to make that change for yourself now before it reaches that point. Because once you reach that point, I can almost guarantee you that there will probably have been some irreparable damage done either to you, your relationships, or something along those lines. I know there are people that I have probably hurt whilst in that state. You know, I have one very recent one in particular in mind, and I'm trying to make amends for it, but it's a long process, you know, especially because, like I said, it took a really long time, and it just kind of now feels like I'm waking up. But I know for a lot of people who have known me, they probably don't recognize it, and to them it probably feels like this is probably fake because it was so sudden, right? So don't allow yourself to reach that point. Try to start working on it now if you can. Be consistent, be patient, don't put so much pressure on yourself, and just do the work. Fix the things that need to be fixed, but the parts of you that are good, allow them to shine. That's kind of all it boils down to. I'm trying to allow the better parts of me to really, really shine through, because I've been keeping them in the dark for far too long. And then aside from that, you know, just, you'll be golden. You'll wake up one day and you won't even really feel negativity anymore, you know? You'll kind of take it and brush it off. And it won't be the fake bottling up that so many of us are, you know, familiar with. Because I used to do that. I used to bottle it up and pretend I was okay when I wasn't. But it's a genuine okayness now, you know? Something negative could happen. Someone could say something negative. In the moment, it might affect me a little. But then it just kind of rolls off and I forget about it. Move on. And I want that for anyone else that's watching this video too. I hope that you reach that point too. Just hopefully without having to reach the point that I reached. In terms of, you know, that dark headspace. That point of no return. So yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Sorry if I dragged that on a little long. I didn't really intend to, but I guess I just had more to say than I thought I did. As always, though, if you feel like you want to speak about anything I said in this video, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling miserable, if you're feeling angry, depressed, sad, you know, heartbroken, suicidal even, please just reach out to me. My social media links will always be in the description below. Feel free to hit me at any point in time. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m. Doesn't even matter. Day or night, rain or shine, hail, sleet, snow. I'll always be here. And I'll always be available. And I'll always reach back out. Because you matter. And you should never feel like you do. And you're not alone. You're never alone. Just take care of yourself. Be proud. Be patient. Hold your head up high. And, yeah. Peace.